1 year in Minecraft creative mode. I've challenged myself to build for 365 Minecraft days in a solo creative world. The first 100 and 200 days of this journey are already on my channel. If you want to go back and watch those, it'd be greatly appreciated. For this section of the creative world, I wanted to head overseas from the previous builds that I had done in the last 200 days, and I wanted to create a kingdom for the ships that are attacking the castle. So I started off by flattening the land and terraforming for a while. I then started to work on the walls by outlining the coast of this new land that I've gone to. I built up the main shape of this wall by using just plain stone and creating an overhang on this actual wall to give it more shape. And by day 211 I actually got a good design for this wall and put some grass on top of it as well. Now I decided I want to actually make a castle on this main bit of this new island, and for this castle I kind of wanted to make it completely different to the other castle that I did, and by giving it a lighter feel by using a block palette which used tons of different blocks such as stripped oak logs and lots of different sandstones. I also wanted to mix in some contrasting darker colours into the build, and I achieved this by using black stone bricks for the roof and mixing in some spruce wood here and there. I then added some flowers and some foliage throughout the wall to liven it up a bit and bring some greenery into this castle. I then continued a similar design around the bend of this castle, and I created a sort of platform where people could use it as a sort of balcony in this castle. Now what is a castle without having some towers in it? So I started to build up a circular kind of shape using just smooth sandstone, and I built it up quite high. And I'd use this tower design on all the bends that went around this castle. On day 226 I added some extra detail all around the build by adding some sewage kind of funnels coming out the side of the actual castle and just adding in some fences here and there to just add more detail into the actual build itself. By 229 I'd actually built up the castle a lot more, adding another layer onto it. And by day 230 the main structure of this castle had been built and it was looking amazing. Now skipping 15 or so days forward, I actually forgot to record with my OBS. So basically what I did was I outlined this other island next to this main castle, and I built up a rock where I built across a bridge to that island, which looked very cool. I managed to add a lot of detail onto this other island by adding in a custom forest at the back of it and also adding in lots of slabs, stairs, just to add more detail into this rock. That was the base for this other island. Now as you can see I also built up a lot of the main kind of castle as well, just replicating the design that I'd used originally, and it was starting to come along really well. Now this staircase that I'm building here was going to be kind of the back entrance of this castle, and I wanted to make it kind of secretive. So once I built up the stairs, I also just replicated the normal design around it and changed it so that it would fit in with the entrance. As you can see here, I managed to finish off the back entrance of this castle, which turned out really well. There's also a couple lookout areas where you can look out of the back of the castle. I've also built up another tower here, which is what I'm time-lapsing me building right now, and it's looking really good so far. So for this tower, I've actually decided to build it a bit differently to the previous one I've already done. So I've decided to include obviously the classic black window design, and I've also stuck to the block palette. Now from around day 265 to day 270, I just spent it progressing the wall all the way around the island and building up and adding lots of grass all around the place. On day 270 I decided to build up the castle even higher, building up with smooth sandstone. However, after a bit of building on day 273 I realised it wasn't actually going to work, and it looked a bit out of place as it was a bit too tall for the actual castle design. On day 275, I went round to the couple of towers I'd built and I just decided to finish them off as there was a bit of work that needed doing to them. Just adding in the finishing touches and adding in foliage and stuff like that just to make it look good. For this other bend around this corner, I just repeated this design that I'd used before on the bend with like the little platform where people could go out on. After completing the wall design for a bit further on, I then decided it was time to actually make the main gate of this castle. Now, I wanted to have a grand kind of staircase leading all the way up to the gate, so this is what I started on now. I experimented with a lot of different designs on this actual staircase, but I finally got to one that I actually liked, which included spruce slabs as the actual stairway up. And yeah, I thought it turned out really well. I then added in a few patches of trees all the way around the castle, just to give the place some more greenery and just make it feel more alive. Now, after I'd completed the main actual bit of the staircase leading up to the gate, I then decided to start the gate on day 296. So I kind of used the same log pillar kind of design and use it to actually form the gate itself. Now, as I didn't want this whole video to be based around just building that castle, I decided to download World Edit and actually, instead of building the whole castle all the way around, I decided to actually use World Edit to build a massive mountain. I've used World Edit a bit in the past, but I'm not too good at it, so I just had to get my head around all of the commands to actually create an actual mountain. So this was a new experience for me, so it was actually pretty good. So I wasn't really too sure how to go about actually making this mountain, so what I did was I got tons of cylinders and just piled them on top of each other. And then basically what I was going to do once I had the actual shape done, I'd just chisel away at it until it actually looked good or somewhat like a mountain. So yeah, that was my game plan. Then once I kind of got the shape of the actual mountain down, I started actually integrating the mountain with the actual build itself. I also didn't want this mountain to just be a huge pile of stone, so what I did was added a lot of stairs, slabs, snow on the top as well, just to make it feel more like an actual mountain that isn't just man-made. I also added in a couple of waterfalls on the mountain just to make it feel more natural as well. So I just spent a few days just adjusting this mountain to make sure it actually looks quite natural, just adding in stairs for a bit more shape to it as well. Then after I'd finished the mountain, I just kept on going with the staircase which I built earlier all the way to the ground, which would lead to a village which I'd start building after I finished that. Now I started this village on around day 312, and I wanted this village to be kind of in keeping with the theme that had been going on throughout the castle, so I just stuck with the smooth sandstone, laying out the builds to start off with, and then I would lay in the detail afterwards. As you can see, I managed to add in a lot of detail into this house, adding like a pergola thing on the side, and yeah, it was looking really good with all the detail on it. I also added in some foliage just to give it a bit of greenery as well. For this village that I was creating, I kind of wanted there to be a lot of smaller houses, which mainly consisted of just wood and sandstone, kind of giving it more of like a poorer vibe in this kind of area, in comparison to the large castle that I just built. Now I also wanted this to kind of be like a tropical paradise kind of thing, so I added in some sun lounges and some parasols as well to make it feel like more of a beachy kind of vibe, which I think worked really well here. Now on day 329 I also added in a huge wheat farm, because I feel like wheat farms always fit in with the village and they just make the village more complete. So yeah, here's a time lapse of me just creating a wheat farm. Okay, so it's day 340 on the world, and now this is me in real time, building still. So I've done quite a lot of this sand village here. It's looking quite good so far. We've got this house here, which I've done kind of like a blue and white kind of theme all around it. And yeah, I'm going to build this up probably till day 365. I'm probably going to build a wall here to separate the sand from the grass. So I'll get to work doing that. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that little time lapse there. I only included like the start of what I actually managed to do throughout those 25-ish days. So as you saw in the time lapse, I built these extra 3 houses here, which actually turned out really well, I think. They look kind of cool. And then after that, I built up some palm trees here, just to add more stuff on the edge of this actual land here. And then after that, you saw me starting off the wall, but I managed to finish it, just kind of going with a similar design that I actually used on the castle itself for the wall. So yeah, this is it here. Obviously got a path going into it. But yeah, it is actually day 364 right now, and the sun is actually going down. So over a year, I've managed to do quite a lot. Obviously built this in the past like 50 days or something. This took me around 100 days, this castle here. Yeah, this was a big project. I'm really proud of how this has actually turned out, and I really like it. And then obviously over here, I have all these pirate ships from the second 100-day video that I did. And yeah, these look really cool. And then obviously the OG castle over here that I built, as well as all of these houses here. Now my goal for this 1 year in creative was to actually improve my building skills from day 1 all the way till day 365, and I feel like I've kind of achieved this, going from this building here, which was I was actually really happy with these as well. I think I've come a long way, and I've actually managed to build some more impressive things as well. So let me know in the comments if you think I've improved over these 3 videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.